chosen one, this feels strange to say, but something you did when no one was watching didn't go unnoticed. You thought it was small, almost meaningless, but it wasn't. There's a reason this is finding you now, and it's not random. Wait, don't scroll past this like everything else. No, stay, because this is the part most people miss. You almost dismissed it already, didn't you? There was a moment, quiet, ordinary on the surface, where you made a choice. No applause, no validation, no one to confirm you did the right thing. And that's exactly why it mattered. You've been carrying this feeling for a while now, like you're unseen, misread, slightly out of place in your own life. Like people look at you, but don't actually see you. Why has it always felt like that? And be honest, how many times did you question yourself after doing the right thing? How many times did you think, what's the point if nobody notices? But that's where something shifted. Because that moment, the one you brushed off, it wasn't ignored. It was observed, closely, and this is where it gets uncomfortable. You weren't supposed to realize that your smallest decisions were being weighed differently. Not by people, by something that saw the intention behind it. Not the action, the intention. You felt it, didn't you? That quiet moment where doing right cost you something, but still felt true. What did you choose in that unseen moment? Comment, I chose right, if you remember it. If this message is speaking to you, stay close with Born into Light. You felt it, didn't you? That strange pause right after. That quiet stillness. Like something acknowledged you, but didn't say anything. You thought it was in your head, but why did it stay with you? Why did that one moment replay when so many others faded? This is where it starts to connect. You've always moved a little differently. Even when you tried to fit in, something held you back. Even when you wanted what everyone else had, something didn't let you fully go there. It frustrated you, made you feel delayed, out of sync, like life was happening for everyone else, just not for you. But what if that wasn't a delay? What if that was interruption, on purpose? Think about it. Every time you were about to settle, something disrupted it. Every time you thought, this is it slipped away. Every time you tried to become like them, it didn't stick. Why? Why you? This is where most people stop asking, but you didn't. Even when you were tired, you kept questioning, and that matters more than you think, because that moment, the one you thought meant nothing, it proved something, not to the world, to something watching quietly. You didn't take the easy path, you didn't follow the louder voice, you chose something harder without needing recognition. Do you understand how rare that is? No, really think about it. How many people only do good when it's seen? How many only act right when there's something to gain? But you did it in silence. And that's where everything shifted, even if you didn't see it yet. But here's what you didn't notice. After that moment, things started changing, subtly at first. Certain doors didn't open anymore, certain people became distant, certain opportunities just missed you, and you thought it was loss, you thought you were falling behind. But what if you were being pulled away, not pushed out? What if what you lost was never meant to stay once that choice was made? This is the part that feels unfair. Because you did the right thing, and instead of immediate reward, things got quieter, harder, slower. That almost made you regret it, didn't it? Just for a second. But you didn't fully go back. And that's important, because something was watching to see if you would. Not to test you, but to confirm you. There's a difference. Testing tries to break you. Confirmation reveals you. And what you did, it revealed something. Something you haven't fully accepted yet. You're not wired like the people around you. That's why the same things don't work for you. That's why shortcuts feel wrong. That's why even when you try to ignore your inner voice, it doesn't let you rest. You thought it was overthinking, but it wasn't. It was alignment trying to pull you back every time you drifted. And that moment, that quiet decision, it marked you. Not publicly, not visibly, but internally something shifted. And since then, you felt it. That subtle sense that something is different now, like you're being moved, even when you don't understand where. This is where it gets real, because you almost missed it. You almost labeled that moment as nothing, but it wasn't nothing. It was recognition, not the loud kind, the kind that changes direction without announcing it. And now you're starting to feel the consequences of that recognition. The separation, the confusion, the sense that your old patterns don't fit anymore. That's not punishment, that's adjustment. You weren't overlooked, you were seen precisely when you thought you weren't. And that changes everything. Because it means you were never moving alone. You were being guided, quietly, away from what couldn't hold who you're becoming. That missed moment, it wasn't missed, it was redirected. That silence you felt, it wasn't emptiness, it was acknowledgement without noise. And now you're here, hearing this, not by accident, but because you're finally at a point where you can start to understand what that moment really meant and why, out of everything, it was you. And that's the part you've been avoiding, without even realizing it. Because if it was you, then it wasn't random, it wasn't luck, it wasn't coincidence slipping through your fingers. It was selection. Pause for a second. Why did that moment happen when it did? Why not earlier, when you were still unsure, still unstable, still looking for approval? Something waited, not for perfection, but for readiness. And readiness doesn't look like confidence the way you thought it would. It looks like choosing right while still feeling uncertain. It looks like doing the harder thing without knowing if it will ever come back to you. That's what you did, and that's why it mattered. But here's where it shifts again, because after that moment, you expected clarity. You expected some kind of sign, something obvious. Instead, things became harder to read. That felt wrong to you, didn't it? Like, if I did the right thing, why does everything feel more confusing now? That question, you never fully answered it. You just carried it, quietly. But what if confusion wasn't a setback? What if it was concealment? Think about it. If everything became clear immediately, you would have told people. You would have tried to explain it. You would have looked for validation again. And that would have exposed something that wasn't meant to be seen yet. So instead, it stayed hidden. Not from you, from everything around you. That's why even now, when you try to talk about what you feel, it never comes out right. It sounds incomplete. It feels like people don't quite get it. And you stop trying, not because it wasn't real, but because it wasn't meant to be shared too early. But here's the part that might unsettle you. You think that moment was about what you did. It wasn't. It was about what you didn't do. Sit with that, because in that exact second, you had another option, an easier one, a quieter compromise that no one would have questioned. And you didn't take it. Why? No one was watching. No one would have known. So why did you stop yourself? That's the question that hasn't left you. And you've tried to explain it logically, but logic doesn't reach it. Because it wasn't logic. It was recognition. Not from your mind, from something deeper, something you don't fully have language for yet. And that's why it felt so subtle but so permanent. You didn't just make a choice. You revealed a boundary. A line inside you that won't let certain things pass anymore, even when it costs you. And ever since then, you've been losing things that cross that line. People, situations, versions of yourself you used to tolerate, and it feels like things are being taken. But look again. Are they being taken, or are they being filtered? This is where most people misunderstand what's happening to them. They think they're being stripped. But you're being refined. There's a difference. Stripping leaves you empty. Refining leaves you precise, and precision doesn't come with comfort. It comes with separation. That's why it's been so quiet around you lately. Not empty, just quieter. Fewer distractions, fewer connections that feel real, more time inside your own thoughts than you're used to, and you didn't ask for that. But you also didn't run from it. That's important, because right here, in this phase, this is where most people go back. They fill the silence, they lower their standards, they reconnect with what they already outgrew. But you haven't, even when it felt easier to. even when part of you missed what used to feel normal. You stayed in the unfamiliar. Why? Why didn't you just go back? That's the piece you haven't fully faced yet. Because going back would have been easier, but it would have felt wrong. And you've reached a point where wrong doesn't sit the same anymore. Even if it looks right on the outside, even if everyone else accepts it. You can't, and that's not stubbornness. That's alignment, tightening. But here's where it gets deeper. At that moment, the one you keep replaying, it didn't just mark a decision. It marked a shift in access. Certain things can't reach you the same way anymore. Certain paths don't open for you anymore. Certain outcomes are no longer available to you. Not because you lost them, because you moved beyond them. And I know that doesn't feel like progress yet. It feels like limitation, like doors closing without explanation, like being guided, but without a map. And that's the tension you're sitting in right now. But listen closely. What feels like restriction is actually protection from what no longer fits who you're becoming. You just haven't seen what it's making space for yet, and that's the part still hidden. Not forever, just not yet. And that waiting, it's been doing something to you. Not on the surface, deeper. It's been stretching your patience past what you thought you could handle, slowing you down when everything in you wanted to rush forward. Why? Why slow you down now when you finally started to see things clearly? That's the part that feels backwards. You expected momentum. Instead, you got stillness. But this stillness isn't empty. It's loaded. Every quiet moment, every delay, every not yet, it's building something you can't rush into existence. And you've felt that tension, haven't you? Like something is close but just out of reach. Like you're standing at the edge of understanding but can't fully step into it. That's not distance, that's timing. And timing doesn't respond to urgency the way you think. It responds to alignment. So let me ask you something. Why do you feel like you're being held back instead of prepared? Look at the difference. Being held back feels like denial. Being prepared feels like pressure. And what you're feeling isn't denial. It's pressure. Internal. Subtle, but constant. Like something is asking more from you without explaining what more even is yet. That's what's been exhausting you. Not failure, not confusion. Expansion without instruction. But here's the contradiction. You think you need clarity before the next step. You don't. You need trust before clarity shows up. And that goes against everything you've learned. Because you've been taught to understand first, then move. But this requires you to move without full understanding, and that's uncomfortable in a way you can't explain to anyone. Because how do you explain a pull you can't prove? How do you justify a direction that doesn't make sense yet? You don't. You just feel it. And that feeling, it's been getting stronger lately, hasn't it? More persistent, harder to ignore. Even when you try to distract yourself, it comes back, quietly, consistently. Why? Because something is closing in. Not on you, for you. And I know that sounds strange, because it doesn't feel like things are coming together. It feels like things are narrowing, options shrinking, paths disappearing. But what if that narrowing is focus? What if you're not losing options, you're being guided away from the wrong ones faster? Think about how many things you used to consider that don't even feel right anymore. Places, people, old versions of what you thought you wanted. They don't fit, not because they changed, because you did. And you didn't announce that change. You didn't plan it. It happened quietly through moments like that one. The one you keep going back to. But here's what you haven't fully seen. Yet that moment didn't just shift your direction. It shifted what you're allowed to align with. Sit with that, because not everything is available to you anymore. Not every path will open. Not every opportunity will respond. And that's not rejection. That's precision tightening again. But here's where it deepens. You're starting to notice patterns now. Subtle ones. Things almost happening, then stopping. Conversations almost going somewhere, then fading. Opportunities almost locking in, then slipping. Almost. That word has been following you. Why almost? Why not fully? Because almost is the space between who you were and who you're becoming, and you're standing right in it. That's why it feels unstable. Not broken, just incomplete. But listen, incomplete doesn't mean missing. It means forming, and forming isn't visible in real time. It only makes sense after. But you're in the middle of it. And that's why it feels like nothing is solid yet. But here's the shift. You keep thinking something needs to arrive, something external, something obvious. But what if what needs to arrive is you, not the old version, not the one that needed validation, the one that already knows without needing proof? That's who this has been shaping. Quietly, through delays, through silence, through moments no one else saw. And that's why that one decision mattered so much, because it wasn't about what happened in that moment. It was about what it unlocked after, and you're still unlocking it, layer by layer, without realizing how close you actually are, because you are close, closer than you've ever been, but not in the way you expected, not louder, not clearer, quieter, sharper, more certain without needing to explain why. And that's when it happens. Not when everything makes sense, but when you stop needing it. That's the threshold, and you're right there, right before it shifts completely. And this is the part where everything in you starts to resist, not loudly, subtly. You'll feel the urge to doubt again, to question everything you've sensed so far, to tell yourself, maybe I'm overthinking this. That thought, it's not random. It shows up right here every time. Why? Because this is the edge, the exact point where something internal either locks in or slips back. And you've been here before, not like this, but close. Moments where you felt something real, then talked yourself out of it. Moments where clarity touched you, then disappeared. But this time feels different, doesn't it? Heavier, more final. Like if you miss this, you'll feel it. And that's new, so don't brush that off. Because that feeling, that weight, it's not pressure to perform. It's awareness trying to stabilize. Let me ask you something. Why does it feel like something is about to be revealed but hasn't yet? Why does it feel so close but still hidden? Because you're not waiting for it anymore. It's waiting for you. Sit with that. You've been looking outward this whole time, expecting something to arrive, confirm, prove. But nothing external is stepping in now. Not this time. Everything has gone quiet on purpose. No signs, no clear instructions, no obvious next move. And that silence, it almost feels like abandonment if you look at it the wrong way. But it's not. It's trust. And here's the contradiction. You thought trust would feel comforting. It doesn't. It feels like standing alone without guarantees. It feels like moving without being certain, and not stopping anyway. That's where you are, right there. And this is where most people turn back. They wait for reassurance. They delay their next step. They try to recreate the old signals they used to rely on. But those signals, they've gone quiet for you. Not because you're lost, because you've outgrown needing them. And that's uncomfortable in a way no one really prepares you for. Because now, the only thing left to follow is that quiet knowing. And it doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It just stays persistent, even when you try to ignore it, even when you wish it would just give you a clear answer. It won't. Not because it can't, because it's not supposed to. You're supposed to meet it halfway now. That's the shift. Before, you were being guided around things. Now, you're being guided through yourself. And that's why it feels more intense, more personal, more undeniable. But here's what you still haven't fully seen. That moment you keep going back to, it didn't just reveal who you are, it created a response. Immediate, not visible, but real. Something adjusted the second you made that choice, not later, not eventually, right then. And everything after has been a continuation of that response. That's why things changed so fast, but also so quietly. Because the shift wasn't outside. It was in how everything interacts with you now. Paths respond differently. Energy feels different. Even time feels like it's moving differently around certain decisions. You've noticed that, haven't you? Some things feel slowed down, almost delayed. Others happen almost instantly without effort. That's not random. That's alignment filtering in real time, and you're inside it. But here's the part that hasn't fully surfaced yet. You keep thinking you're being prepared for something. Something ahead, something coming. But what if this isn't preparation? What if this is activation, already in progress? Feel the difference. Preparation waits. Activation moves, even when you don't realize it. And look at you. You've already changed how you respond, what you tolerate, what you walk away from without explanation. That's not someone waiting. That's someone already shifting, already stepping into something without needing to announce it. And yet, you still feel like you're on the edge. Why? Because there's one more layer, one more piece you haven't fully faced yet, not avoided, just not fully seen. And it connects back to that moment, that exact moment. There was something in it, not just the decision, something underneath it, a reason you chose what you chose, that you haven't put into words yet. And until you see that clearly, this will keep feeling incomplete, close but not fully landed. So ask yourself, not what you did, but what stopped you from doing the other thing. What was it really? Because the answer to that's where everything finally clicks. Not outside, not in some future moment. Right there in something you've already felt but didn't fully name. And the strange part, you did notice it. For a second. Then you move past it. Why did you do that? Why did you skip over the exact feeling that carried the answer? Look closely. It wasn't loud. It didn't come with words. It wasn't logical enough to explain, but it was certain, uncomfortably certain, like something inside you already knew before you had time to think. And that's what made you hesitate. Because if you accept that kind of knowing, then you can't go back to pretending you're unsure. And that changes things, more than you're ready to admit. So instead, you labeled it as instinct, or emotion, or just a passing feeling. But it wasn't passing. It stayed, quietly, under everything. Even now, you can still feel it if you go back there. That exact moment. There was no confusion in you, none. So why did confusion come after? Think about that. Clarity was there first. Then doubt showed up, not the other way around. That means the doubt wasn't natural, it was introduced. And this is where it gets deeper. You've been trained to trust doubt more than clarity, not on purpose, just over time. Because doubt sounds careful, responsible, safe. Clarity, especially the quiet kind, feels risky, unexplainable, hard to defend. So you leaned toward doubt, even when it came after the knowing. But this time, something didn't fully let you do that. Did it? You tried to question it. You tried to water it down, but a part of you stayed firm, still, unmoved. Why? Why didn't you fully override it like before? That's the shift, not the decision itself. The fact that something in you held its ground without needing to argue. That's new. And you felt it, even if you didn't understand it. But here's the contradiction. You think that part of you is fragile, like it could disappear if you question it too much. It's not. It's the most stable thing you have right now. It just doesn't force itself forward. It waits, and that waiting, it's been misunderstood. You thought it was hesitation. It's not. It's precision. It only moves when it's aligned. And that's why that moment happened the way it did. No rush, no noise, no external push, just a quiet, undeniable pause. And then, choice. Clean, certain, final. And everything after that has been echoing from it. That's why it still feels present. That's why it hasn't faded like other memories, because it wasn't just a moment, it was a marker, a dividing line, before and after. And you're living in the after now, even if part of you hasn't caught up yet. But here's what you're starting to notice. You can't unsee certain things anymore, even when you try, even when it would be easier. There's a sharpness now, a kind of awareness that wasn't there before. And it's not always comfortable. Sometimes it isolates you more. Sometimes it makes conversations feel surface level. Sometimes it makes you question why you ever accepted less. And that's where it gets real. Because growth, real growth, it doesn't always feel like expansion. Sometimes it feels like disconnection from what used to feel normal, from what used to feel enough. And you didn't plan for that. But you also didn't stop it, even when it would have been easier to shrink back. Why? Why didn't you go back? Not just physically, internally. Why didn't you become that version of yourself again? You had the chance, more than once, but something in you refused, quietly, firmly, without needing approval. And that same something, it's still here, right now. Stronger than before. You just haven't fully trusted it yet. But you're getting closer, closer to recognizing it for what it actually is. Not a feeling, not a phase, not something temporary, something foundational, something that was always there, but only revealed itself when you were ready to act from it. And now that you have, you can't go back to not knowing. You can delay, you can question, you can even try to ignore it for a while, but you can't erase it. And that's where the final shift begins. Not when you discover something new, but when you stop denying what you already know. And you're right at that edge now, right where knowing stops being quiet and starts asking something from you. You could stay in between, not fully stepping forward, but not completely going back either. That space, it protected you, gave you time, gave you distance from consequences. But that space is closing now, slowly, and you feel it. That subtle pressure, like something is asking you to decide, even if no one is forcing you. Why now? Why does it suddenly feel like staying in the middle isn't an option anymore? Because that middle, it only exists when you're unsure. And you're not unsure anymore. You've been pretending to be. There's a difference, and that difference, it's getting harder to maintain. You notice it in small moments, when you hesitate but already know. When you pause, but the answer is already there. When you ask yourself questions, you don't actually need answers to. So why keep asking? Why keep circling something that already feels decided inside you? Because deciding changes things. It closes certain doors permanently, and part of you still feels the weight of that. Even if those doors don't feel right anymore, even if you've already outgrown what's behind them, there's still a version of you that remembers when those doors mattered. And letting go of that version, it's not instant, it's quiet, gradual, but irreversible. And that's what you're standing in right now. Not a decision point, a recognition point. There's nothing new being introduced. You're just seeing clearly what's already been true. But here's the contradiction. You think clarity should make things easier, but right now, it's making things heavier. Why? Because clarity removes excuses. It takes away the maybe. It strips the comfort of uncertainty and leaves you with something direct, something you can't soften, something you can't delay forever. That's why it feels intense. Not because it's overwhelming, because it's precise. And precision, it doesn't leave room for avoidance. So let me ask you, what exactly are you still waiting for? Another sign? Another confirmation? Something external to match what you already feel inside. But what if that doesn't come? What if it already did? In that moment you keep replaying, and everything after that was never meant to convince you, only to reveal whether you trust what you already saw. That's the real question. Not what should you do, but do you trust what you already know? And you've been answering that, not with words, with hesitation, with delay, with staying just close enough without stepping in fully. But even that is changing, because hesitation isn't sitting the same anymore. It feels heavier now, more noticeable, almost uncomfortable, like something in you is starting to reject your own delays. Have you felt that? that tension when you pause too long, that quiet resistance when you try to stay where you are, that's new. That didn't used to happen. Before, you could sit in uncertainty and it felt normal. Now, it feels off, misaligned. Why? Because you've already crossed something internally, even if your actions haven't fully caught up yet. And that gap between what you know and what you do, that's where the pressure is building, not from outside, from within. And here's where it deepens. You keep thinking this is about a big step, a major decision, a visible shift. It's not. It's smaller than that, quieter, but more final. It's about whether you stop negotiating with yourself. That's it, because every time you hesitate, you're not actually confused. You're negotiating, trying to soften something that already feels clear, trying to make it easier, more comfortable, more explainable. But clarity doesn't negotiate, it just is. And the more you try to adjust it, the more tension you feel. So what happens when you stop negotiating? When you stop asking for permission, even from yourself? That's the part you haven't stepped into yet, not fully, because once you do, things won't feel the same anymore, not gradually, immediately. And that's what you've been sensing, that this isn't a slow shift anymore, that once it clicks completely, no going halfway, no easing into it, just alignment locking in. And that's why part of you is still holding back. Not because you don't know, because you do, but because you know. Once you move from that knowing, everything changes. Not outside first, inside. And that's the shift that can't be undone. The one that doesn't ask for approval. The one that doesn't need explanation. The one that simply becomes who you are next. And this is where it all settles. Not with noise, not with some big dramatic moment, but with a quiet, irreversible knowing. You were never confused. You were careful. You were waiting. You were waiting yourself. Become ready. And now, there's nothing left to wait for. No missing piece. No final sign. That moment, the one you thought was small, it was the signal. You didn't notice it then, but everything noticed you. And from that point on, you weren't being tested, you were being aligned. That's why things fell away. That's why certain paths closed. That's why you felt pulled without understanding where. It wasn't random, it was precise. And now you see it. Not fully explained, not perfectly clear, but enough. Enough to stop pretending you don't know. Enough to stop standing in between. Because you've already crossed it, that line, that invisible shift. You're not becoming that version of you. You already did, quietly. In that moment, no one saw. And now, everything else is just catching up. You weren't overlooked. You were quietly chosen in that moment. If you're ready to keep walking this path, subscribe and stay with this journey. Because this isn't for everyone, this is for who you're becoming.